What if I told you there was a murderer who didn't just kill to kill, but to clean up the streets? A killer who targeted only rapists, abusers, traffickers, the ones who slipped through the cracks of justice. Some call him a monster, others a necessary evil. This is the story of Pedro Rodrigues Filho, a real-life vigilante killer who believed evil deserves to die. Pedro Rodrigues Filho was born in 1954 in Minas Gerais, Brazil, and he was born with brain damage. Why? Because his own father kicked his pregnant mother in the stomach during a violent argument. Some say his fate was sealed before he took his first breath. Pedro's childhood was filled with violence. He witnessed beatings, corruption, and lawlessness. By 13, he committed his first murder. His target? A town deputy who fired his father over false accusations of theft. Not exactly your typical start for a teenager, but that was just the beginning. But here's the eerie part. Pedro didn't just lash out at random. He was deliberate, tactical. He had a system for picking his targets. This wasn't some drug-fueled murder spree. This was methodical. Pedro embedded himself in the favelas, where crimes went unpunished and justice was more rumor than record. He asked questions, watched behavior, and listened to whispers. He tracked someone for days before striking. In these communities, people often knew who the predators were, even if the police didn't care. Pedro cared. When his pregnant girlfriend was murdered by gang members, Pedro didn't just attack. He hunted down the killers one by one. He didn't kill based on accusations. He waited until he knew. Sometimes the criminals bragged, in bars, on the streets, in prison, about the acts they'd previously committed. Pedro would talk to people. If someone admitted to rape, abuse, or murder, Pedro didn't forgive. He waited, and then he struck. Believe it or not, Pedro had informants. Dirty cops, rival criminals, even prison guards. They'd slip him names, faces, files. Some of his kills were people who bought their way out of justice. Pedro didn't take bribes. He took blood. Pedro didn't see himself as a killer. He called himself a cleaner. He followed one rule: never kill the innocent. He once said, "If you're bad, you die. If you're good, you don't." As if he were a human lie detector with a knife. It's not justice. It's not mercy. It's vengeance, dressed up as righteousness. Pedro eventually confessed to killing over 70 people, many of them while he was in prison. That's right, even behind bars, he kept going, killing rapists, child molesters, and snitches who tried to cross him. He reportedly carved revenge into one of his victims' chests and beheaded another in the prison courtyard. Authorities couldn't stop him. Inmates feared him. Guards avoided him. Pedro wasn't just another convict. He was judge, jury, and executioner. Here's where it gets murky. Some Brazilians began calling him a dark Avenger. Social media users debated, was he evil, or was he simply doing the job the justice system wouldn't? He only killed people who were killers themselves. His targets? Documented criminals, often ones who avoided conviction. Was this a twisted form of morality, or a loophole to justify murder? In an interview from prison, Pedro smiled and said, "I never killed good people, only the bad ones." Incredibly, Pedro Rodrigues was released in 2007 after serving 34 years. But get this, instead of vanishing, he started a YouTube channel, warning young people to avoid crime and talking about his past. He went viral. People couldn't look away from this calm, articulate man who casually admitted to over 70 murders, but said he regrets the path he took. He became a strange symbol, part cautionary tale, part folk anti-hero. But karma, they say, never forgets. On March 5, 2023, Pedro Rodrigues Filho was gunned down outside his home by two masked men on a motorcycle. He died the same way many of his victims had, in a blaze of gunfire. A vigilante until the end. Was it revenge? Was it a rival? or simply the ghost of his past finally catching up? Pedro's story forces us to ask, can murder ever be justified? What happens when justice fails so often? People take it into their own hands? And in a world drowning in corruption, violence, and hypocrisy, is the vigilante the villain or the cure? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Was Pedro a hero or a monster? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime deep dives, where morality, madness, and murder all meet.